I was listening because I was setting it up. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
It took a while because I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a little upset from dying yesterday. I woke up 15 minutes before I was supposed to start from my wife saying, "Hey, aren't you supposed to get up?" I didn't tell her I died yet. I don't want to tell her. So, this is it. This is a podcast that's makes your guys' webcams bigger as you guys talk because it was I didn't make your guys' specialized ones yet. I'll do a little bit before next week, but we're gonna call it the classic life. We're gonna put a pin in that because that kind of seems like kind of fitting right now, and it's basically just Sarthe and I love the game, and right now I know it's gonna seem a lot like SoM right now and Road to Rag, but this is not for SoM and Road to Rag. It's for classic in general, right? Which is
all
right now
classic.
Yep, which right now
Every
is
version.
which would have been a good name too. All things classic.
Oh,
Okay, there you go. Put a pin in it. You never know. It's I don't know. We'll ask Sarthe as well because I'm pretty sure that's his own goal. But my main goal is to bring hype back to the TBC, man. TBC and Lich King in the future, and this now. I feel like there's not. I mean, I guess you guys can say there's hype, but I feel like there's not enough hype. I feel like there could be more hype for the game, especially for TBC right now. But you know, that's for a different day.
I think especially with Season of Mastery coming out, there's like that in between phase. We're towards the end of phase 2, and people are ready for Black Temple. I think that's where we really get going again.
And then you know, and this is gonna be every Monday morning. We're gonna do this like clockwork. If we're feeling like shit, we're turning the cameras off and we'll do it. If we're sick, we're gonna make sure that we do this every week. The audio we'll fix for next week, and we're gonna put it on the podcast episodes and make it like a legitimate every weekly thing. And today, because of said magical event, we have 2 special guests with us. These are like my best friends in the world. I love them. Actually, should we introduce ourselves first? Now they know us, right, Sarthe?
I guess, yeah, right? I assume you guys know us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is Crix. We're like the 2
Yeah.
best friends that anybody's ever had.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
luckily today on the very first episode, we have 2 of the most amazing people that are also 2 of our just closest friends in the gaming community and in the world.
In the
Means a
world,
lot, guys.
Yeah. The reason I'm even doing this, these boys right here, man. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing all right, man.
Yeah, you guys look excited. You got that big old smile, Grazies. Look at that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I always do. I like podcasts. All right, I'm excited to talk about Road to Rag today. Even if you guys touch on any TBC topics. Played the first 3 months of it. As a pally tank, and obviously I'm a fan of Fresh. But yeah, I'm excited to be here and talk about the game. It's fun to talk about WoW with nerds. Like I don't get to talk about WoW with anybody else, so I enjoy these.
Yeah, same. Yeah, we'll touch on today. Will be big on your guys' category, but I know you guys have both done TBC. You've done T4, Tier 5, at least with me already too. And then Kargoz is Gladiator Season 1, big chat over there. So we'll definitely touch on TBC lightly. Yeah. Kargoz, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing really great, man. Thanks for having me on. The feeling is mutual, Sarthe. It's a pretty bizarre lifestyle we live playing not only World of Warcraft but classic World of Warcraft, and it's a small community. You got to take care of it, and I couldn't be more proud of our community and our category right now. Everybody working together for the most part. There were many times where the creators didn't really get along in this space, and it was very like cutthroat and stuff. Grays was there from the jump when it was all like that, and now it's totally different, and people are getting along for the most part, and we're doing cool stuff, and it's just I'm glad to say I've played a small role in it.
Pretty massive role. I think you helped bring a lot of us all together. So before we even start, I want to say thank you for all you've done for the community, especially from the side of the streamers and bringing everybody together. Now that we're finally all playing together, both of you guys, especially with this Road to Rag event, but even beforehand, just putting together events in general.
Hell yeah, brother. It's been great.
Volume super low. Okay, I'm gonna ask real quick. I just turned Sarthe up. As we go, if anybody's too quiet or too low, just let me know and I'll do it on my thing so they don't have to. So we can. Yeah, the settings will save. Sorry, go ahead, Sarthe. Or Kargoz.
Oh no, that was it, man. Just happy to be here.
What is those little cringy questions people ask? I just want to know how long. Kargoz first. How long you've been playing WoW? Both of you guys can answer this. Actually, Sarthe, you can too. I guess we all can. How long you been playing WoW? What is your favorite class and why? And that's all I want. That's it. You can do 2 classes if you like really can't, You
said you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Been playing WoW since winter break back in middle school. I believe it was 04, maybe 05. Pretty sure it was 04 though. It was in 7th grade or 6th grade, and been playing on and off. Never really fully quit. Love this game. Best game of all time. Best gaming community I've been part of. My favorite class overall. I feel like I've been flip-flopping a bit on this because I haven't been playing Hunter very much in the past couple years. I've been playing Warlock and TBC as well as in the real classic. That was my main. But jumping back on the Hunter recently, I love the Hunter class. It really resonates with me. IRL kind of as like a survivalist or something like that, and using ranged physical damage, all that. But I think they really, the more and more you play it, in Vanilla WoW, you realize how amazing the class is in Vanilla WoW. Like, they really captured the spirit and flavor of it. If you think about Eagle Eye, if you think about how useful all of your tracking abilities are, your traps, just the finesse, the different aspects, and how it all really comes together, it's amazing. It's an amazing class from a both flavor side, and just the gameplay is really interesting and stuff too. So, especially with its current state in SoM, where they've rehauled the meta a bit, I feel it's really fun to play Hunter.
Nice. Yeah, I was glad to see you play Hunter when you started, man. I was like,
yeah, I was hyped. I was actually really hyped.
What are you, big Gracies?
It's live. Yeah, I've been playing since I was 9 in 2005. Shout out to Uncle Jed for hooking my brother up with a copy when he went over to his house. Yeah. So my brother came home, convinced my mom to get the game, and been daydreaming about Classic ever since. Man, if only I could go back. If only I knew then what I know now. And we got a chance to do that with Classic, so I started making a channel and everything just so I could play Classic, and here we are. Always played Druid though. My uncles always told me how great Druid was because of the movement speed, and they can tank, they can heal, the DPS. It's the normal spiel that you normally hear, but not as many people play Druid. I kind of enjoy it for that. Always being underrated and playing the Druid class, and there's still a lot that I normally tank on one. Still a lot I need to learn, and I'd like to sink my teeth into PvP on a Druid and Classic specifically before they change too much and flip-flop the classes and talent trees around with maybe future versions of Classic. But yeah, I'm a Druid player.
Okay. And while we're on the topic, just because this will be largely Lich King related in the future, do you guys, I know you played Paladin and Kargoz played Warlock and TBC, and you guys kind of quit playing. Are you going to play Lich King, and what class are you going to play?
I'm going to play Lich King. I'm down for the whole Classic journey, man. Even if for some reason, there's zero financial incentive or whatever, like, it's more than that to me. Like, it's, my friends are playing this game. We all play this game together, and I'm down until Classic Pandaria or whatever. It's fun. The idea of going into the Classic games where all the knowledge is there already beforehand and there's no discovery. It's purely just kind of like execution and mastery. I really enjoy that in the game. That's a bit of a tangent, but I think I will come back to Wrath, and it'll be a fresh, sort of. I hope they maybe do fresh, maybe not. I do worry though, and I don't mean to be like a doomer here or anything like that, but I feel like Wrath is kind of similar to TBC in many ways. So you either love the current state of TBC or you don't, and you're still going to have those same issues of it not feeling like an expansive world because of the same flying mount issue that we have right now, if you think it's an issue. And it's going to be, more raids trickled in and Nax we did in vanilla. So I'm not sure if Wrath is going to be this big smash success that everybody thinks it's going to be. I'm still down to play it, of course. And I think the number one thing that would get me to come back to TBC is if there was a TBC fresh, for example. It's hard to want to come back right now.
Everyone had to start from fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Wrath is going to have the hardest part for Wrath, the hardest selling point for Wrath is going to be that phase 1, your biggest raid is Naxxramas, but weaker. So now that everyone's done that, because the first time around, almost no one, it was like 1% of players ever got to really raid Naxxramas. And now it's just a completely different situation where almost everyone has fully completed Nax. So going back in there for an entire phase is going to be a hard sell, even with new abilities. But it seems so fresh. The new servers of Wrath seem to be so lively. So
they're phenomenal.
I'm like up
I can go
and
on a
down
tangent about that, but I won't. But yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Just to play like devil's advocate, I wonder. I've been hearing from, and you guys are more of the TBC folks than us, so you would know. But some people are saying, "Man, why don't they do like TBC SOM or something like that?" Like, I want to play devil's advocate. I wonder what if they went into Wrath with an SOM mindset and changed a few things around in Wrath so that it was a bit fresh. I'm not saying they should, but I wonder if that's going through their mind right now. And how are there Wrath purists out there that are just dying for the original values in the same way that people were fighting for no changes classic WoW?
I think there probably will be, and they're not even playing Lich King yet. They're still playing TBC and bitching about TBC. But you know, I think people are definitely gonna change it. What I would like them to do, I think the biggest issue that people have with it is like the raids, right? Because they're so easy. A lot of people want the raids to be harder. I think since that's when they introduce hard mode, that's when they leave the normal difficulty that they have for normal, and then their hard versions of it is just like dumb hard, like cutting edge hard, like super hard. I would love if they did that. Like just the casuals and the people who complain about the 8 to 10 right now. You guys, not crap talking to you, but you guys get normal, and then you progress. Salad Baker boys, you guys want something hard? Here's hard mode. I think that'd be so cool. That's what I'm petitioning for.
To build off that, you're talking about heroic mode, right?
Yeah.
Grays, you might actually really like that. If you had to like narrow down what your favorite things, if you had to choose about Wrath would be, that would probably be really high up there on the list for me. The idea that you could do 10-man heroic, so you can crank up the difficulty, and the 10-man, the intimacy of a 10-man is so much fun. Like we had a lot of fun in Kara, right? While you were blasting Gray, like imagine we just got like, the absolute squad together and did heroic 10-mans.
Yeah. The 40-man rating
hard
was
and
rough.
Amazing loot.
The 40-man rating in Classic was difficult, and the 10-man in TBC felt right. I didn't do too much SSC and TK. I did it on the PTR while it was out for like 2 months. But the 10-man hit right. And as a paladin tank, I could solo tank. Everybody's roles feel more impactful. Didn't need an extra tank. We had a really good healer keep me up, and so we had an extra DPS in the group. Yeah, there might be something there for in-game for me.
I remember solo healing you and
they have like the options for that, so that it'll feel better, because now you'll finally, well, I guess in Wrath you'll have the option to do smaller raids or the larger raids, which is kind of cool for the first time you ever like can just do either.
Yeah. I thought it was a question for Grays. That was not a question for Grays? Cool. Yo.
A question for Grays, because he still hasn't
that was the question. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I like the tanking role. It was cool. I'm a Druid player in Classic. I fell in love with TBC Paladin. Crix told me I would. I love tanking, and it'd be a mistake if you don't tank as a Pally in TBC. And I'm not sure what the tanking meta is. I think Paladins are still... you guys are the P server big brains. Well, whatever's meta, I'll probably want to play. It'd be kind of cool to tank as a DK. I think they got nerfed
DK's meta,
in their
bro.
final.
DKs are so
DKs. That's
meta,
bro.
I'll probably just play Death Knight. It's meta. Then we're playing.
You can't go wrong, Paladin or DK. You can't go wrong, bro.
Yeah. You can just be like, oh, I'm the top DPS. Don't worry, I'm the best tank. I could never die.
Yeah.
I do have really fond memories of Wrath too. Wrath came out for me when I was in junior year of high school, and I was at a boarding school up in the Berkshires, and I was playing with my roommates, and we were just degenning like all night, like just we were playing sports during the day, and then just all night like raiding and stuff. And the soundtracks from all the zones, Borean Tundra, like it would be a wave of nostalgia for sure. Maybe even more so than TBC for me in terms of the just the OSTs and atmospheres of all the zones, and the dungeons are insane. I think I've said this on stream before. You kind of refine an answer, and people ask you certain questions. And one of the questions they've asked me in the past is like, what's the most fun you've had playing in WoW? And many times I've said it was farming frost badges with my IRL friend roommates, which were like, the badge, instead of badges of justice in TBC, that's what they're called in Wrath, and doing, like UK, UP, and doing all the dungeons, like right when Wrath came out. It was so fun.
I think the Wrath dungeons also just felt so crisp and new, and like even thinking back, I remember on retail recently, maybe like during the beginning of Shadowlands, they did like, I forget what they call it, but where you play the old dungeons and get new gear, and playing through the Wrath dungeons, the time walking, it was so nostalgic for me. So I'm right there with Karg, where like Wrath I think has more of a place in my heart, and like I degened on Wrath even harder than TBC by far. So I'm definitely like nostalgic and excited for that one.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn. I think people forget how fun it actually is. I knew everyone says it's their favorite and it was their fun and I said the same thing until I played it more, and then it's like, whoa, people are in trouble when this game comes out. The no life degree, start saving your PTO now. That's all I gotta say. Yeah,
because we're gonna have that classic season of mastery and classic TBC season mastery. Let's have fun.
So here's an interesting take too. So you know Navik, right, Crix?
Yeah.
and Grays knows Nabbit.
Daddy Nabbit.
With him. Yeah, he's a dear friend to me. He built the whole fantasy draft system and has done so much for so many projects over the years. He's a seasoned TBC arena enthusiast. He got Glad every season on Rogue. He played Mutilate Rogue back in the day. He is one of the most passionate people you'll ever meet about TBC Arena. And for a lot of the TBC heads, in their mind, Wrath ruined Arena for them because they had this like refined meta and it was so fun and it was so good. And then Wrath came out and Death Knights just totally disrupted the entire meta. Everything was extremely imbalanced and they hated it and they thought it went to shit. I don't know if that's going to be the case though going into Wrath. And the reason I say that is because I think a lot of people, myself included, are extremely frustrated with the RNG that's in TBC. And I think in Wrath, they actually dialed it back a bit. Some of the RNG with stuns resisting and things like that, as well as when we get Wrath, it's not going to be DKs in their OP state, right? They're going to give us like final form class balance, like at the end of Wrath. That's what they've done with TBC and Vanilla, right? So the arena meta could be way better and way less frustrating in Wrath as well.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think RNG is the most frustrating, probably especially for you or like anyone that's playing like at the Glad level or above, like rank 1 even. It's just like out of nowhere, you just have like 4 stun resists or something like that. And you're just like, this is the worst. And I'm pretty sure they dial that down in Wrath. Although I know you do pretty much all have to go human, which is kind of like, it's hopefully something they adjust, because humans get a second PvP trinket just from their racial.
Broken.
Yeah.
And then just while we're on the topic, I think it'd be Kargoz, you were Gladiator season 1. You want to touch on that a little bit? How was that journey? I know this is your first Gladiator. I know you practiced for a little bit, but you kind of didn't get that much practice, and you went in there and kind of clapped. And I know we have some people who hope to do that one day as well. How'd that,
It was my first real Gladiator title. I mean, I got it on the private server. The most recent, I already forgot the name of it. Endless came out with that that like fast tracked server, and Brandon and I did get Glad on that. That was an S2 environment out the gate, but this was for real. Like, that's not official servers. And to be honest, the process was miserable. We really did not enjoy it. Looking back at it, it was awful. It was actually traumatizing, and I just totally haven't even touched S2 for one day. I didn't even play one match in S2. There's a bunch of things that was Blizzard's fault. It was mainly our fault. We played a comp that was pretty dog shit. Excuse my French. And our comp does get better in S2, and you see Roblox doing better in S2 as we thought. But the meta with NG belt on every single character, just like all the NG shenanigans, the stealth meta, if we were going to play Roguelike, we needed to go Alliance, because that's one of the strengths of the comp, that you can get that stealth advantage over certain comps, and you just forfeit that if you're Horde. Just how susceptible to bad RNG we were, it was awful. And the fact that they yoinked out Oceanic and gave them their own bracket midway through, the fact that the boost was in the game, so all the rank 1 players had 2-3 alts, so it made like that system feel really antiquated. The fact that they didn't give you transparency at the end towards what rating you needed to get, and it was basically just up in the air until the very final hour. The fact that there was so much boost, boosting and all that. I could go on and on. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but yeah, pretty much an awful experience. But I'm still glad
you
we
guys
did it.
Didn't even know you had it, right? Even like the day of, you thought you weren't gonna make it, right?
Yep, we thought it was GG, man. And then they banned the people and adjusted the ladder, and then we got it.
That's crazy. It's crazy how many shenanigans went on during, especially like the later phase of the season. The season was almost over, and then I remember seeing just like so many lists come out and just everybody playing with everybody, or like all these alts are just boosting. It was it makes sense that it's something in the game, because it's a way that a lot of people play games nowadays is kind of detrimental to it being fun. Is a lot of people will buy boosts nowadays in like any sort of competitive game, and it makes sense. It just like really hurt the enjoyment and like the classic nostalgia of the game.
From what I've been hearing too, for the people, the high-end arena scene that still exists in TBC, it's been feeling like a ghost town. Like there's literally times where you can't get queues if you're queuing above like 2600 or something. Like there's just nobody there. And I don't know, since I'm a bit out of it now, I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I've been hearing that it's been pretty dead. So it's one of those missed opportunities. You never know how big things could have been if Blizzard played their cards right. Imagine they did a TBC Fresh server. Imagine there wasn't any boost. Imagine there was an arena ecosystem that was like supported by Blizzard, and they really like, because it's inherently going to be kind of toxic in a PvP system because you're against each other. Imagine they went above and beyond to try to bring everybody together, doing events, doing whatever it would take. But alas, here we are.
It scares people away from playing. It scares a lot of people away from playing, man. It's like you can make one of those like documentaries where it's like the dark side of arena. You know what I mean? Kind of funny.
Well, that's the thing. Does any casual players in the chat, did they enjoy their experience in arena? They probably had like the worst time ever even trying, because forgot the exact thing Ale said, but the bracket was skewed so that first of all, there's like no reward if you're kind of a casual arena player. It's kind of, you get the glad title or you don't. And secondly, it was so inflated this time around that the top 35% of the bracket or something was like 2K plus or something, I don't know, as opposed to how it was back in the day.
Yeah, if you were playing arenas, you pretty much had to go really hard. I was planning to play a ton of arenas and then ended up just PvEing extremely hard season 1. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'll get Gladiator. Yeah. Guess what I didn't do. So, Sarthe, what about you, Bubba? What's your little your favorite classes, your history, or what are you doing right now?
My favorite classes, I'm loving that Kargoz is playing Hunter right now, because the first time I ever played World of Warcraft was my brother got the game, and he had like a computer in his room, and I used to always sneak into his room to play. Like every day I would sneak into his room to play, and I was leveling a Night Elf Hunter, just like I just finished in Road to Ragnaros Season Mastery. So it's a nice nostalgia kick there. A Night Elf Hunter that I remember took me 19 days playtime the first time around to hit level 60, which is like, whoa, so long.
Did you walk the whole time? You didn't even run?
I don't even know. I remember like looking at that and just being like, I did it. Like, oh my God. So it feels nice playing a Hunter again. But my favorite class is definitely the Rogue in Classic. In Classic, a Rogue is just like, it feels so fun. You can do so much. You're so eclectic. Your toolkit is so useful for every situation, PvE or PvP. And so that's why I love that class. But then going into TBC, Rogues are just not very powerful, to be honest, outside of PvP. So then I went Hunter, and that's actually the first time where I've, in a classic version of the game, felt like a class had a really, really solid rotation that's constantly changing and takes all of your effort and like mind power, if you could say that, to make sure that you're optimizing your DPS. And I love that. I love raiding at the highest level and pumping. So Hunter and Rogue are just two classes that always like really fit for me in my class fantasy. Being like a little stealthy boy or having a pet, either of that.
Yeah, Rogue is such a good class, man.
Yeah, it's so fun. Crix was doing it on hardcore before, on his hardcore practice before actually Season of Mastery. You ever play it, Karg?
I did. I got a hardcore Rogue to 60, and if I cringe looking back on it, because I was the biggest Rogue hater, just because I was kind of noob, honestly, in the past, thinking that why would you just not play Warrior? It's just like objectively better, blah 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 blah. It wasn't until doing a hardcore Rogue until I started to appreciate the Rogue kit, like even just the safety of stealth and the kind of info you can get in stealth, and your utility comes in the form of stuns and just raw damage, and they're really great.
It was a lot of fun. That was like most fun. It's funny, it's not my favorite class, but it's one of the most funs I've ever had playing it.
Yeah, it's just, it feels good. Like everything you do on a Rogue always feels good, I think.
I wonder if that's how Feral feels, Grays. Does Feral feel like night cozy? If you were to level, I know we've watched you level and you just make Druid look so easy. You make me want to try Druid for hardcore just because it looks so fun. But if you had to do it like strictly as Feral, would that be like
hard? That'd be the best. Like, yeah, that's the way to do it. Yeah, Feral's it's smooth. There's no downtime, and from the leveling side of things,
like if you had to do it without any heals, like either go Druid, no heals, like a no heals achievement. Would that be like, would it
no self heals?
Yeah, would it instantly take like a whole bunch out of the toolkit from you? Like, would you?
Yeah, it would slow things down for no reason. Yeah. I throw heals on myself and continue, you know,
for no reason.
Dump mana on myself, go back into form, and keep leveling. Cool.
It's like that and entangling roots would be like the two things. Like,
you know, the thing about Druid, I feel like it's such a good class. I really do think they're so powerful in pretty much every aspect of the game. And you know, even if you just look at TBC, you can see, like, granted they have a lot more tools in TBC, but they're such a powerful class. But there's very few people that know how to actually extract that value from their toolkit, right? And I feel like Grays does a really good job, especially on the leveling front, of showing it. Like, you do things that no other classes really are doing. Like, you just pretty much break the game by just, you know, just travel, cheetah form, travel form, dashing out of caves, going into manatee form to, you know, get your breath back underwater, and just getting right-click damage with your little flipper. And
oh, the mobility. Yeah, the mobility on Druid is crazy. I can manipulate, you know, and while leveling up, I just killed that rock elemental guy that walks around in Arathi Highlands. And just the way I was able to pick off the mobs, dump all my mana on one, continue to kill another one, or I'll chain pull mobs. And because of the movement speed I have, I can keep one leashed and, you know, keep moving around. Someone made a really cool point in terms of hardcore leveling. Druids are like a player and a half, almost 2 players, and in a duo it's almost like you guys are like 3 players because you have a druid on your team. But I really do feel like 1.5 players on the leveling side of things, where they may not get much love for like feral DPS in classic, or everybody always memes on resto, even though they're pretty good. Druids healing in a raid environment, they really shine in leveling.
Looks fun, man. Looks so fun.
Yeah, they really
looks so fun.
And bear tanks are just a really solid tank in general.
Yeah, people sleep on them, especially on a fresh server at the beginning. Like they have their niche. It's so cool in classic on fresh servers, and we're doing Road to Rag this time around. They get geared really easily, and I can basically just go full mitigation, and not have that much hit or that many threat pieces, and just throw a Mandrill Cloud Pummeler and attack twice as fast. Do I think it's great game design? I think it's pretty garbage. But they're unique in that sense. And so they have a role in classic, you know, which is good.
That one item that just kind of carries, and like, you have to farm it, but it's there, let's do it, and then you can just absolutely pump the threat.
Yeah, I'm really curious, Crix in particular, if you had to summarize TBC up until this point. You know, I don't know if you have a positive or a negative or a neutral outlook on it, and like how it unfolded. And even for the chat too, like I wonder how people would summarize it, you know, like in 2 sentences or something. Like TBC Classic came out, and then blank, 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 blank.
I will say I don't know how to do it in a sentence thing, but I was way more excited than I look back and now think that I should have been. And I also think that it's way more boring than I thought it was going to be. But I think I can attribute that to all that private server shit too. So it's kind of like I might have a different... I'm bored as shit right now. I don't want to log in at all. I backed out of my alt raid last week, and so I'm just done with it. But I'm still raiding on my warlock. I'm just over it. But because everyone's fighting for Lady Vash, I've done Lady Vash 200,000 times. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping when T6 comes out, it'll bring that spark back. But that's a long sentence. So yeah, I don't know.
I'm excited, but that's because I'm like playing something new. Like I get excited when I'm playing like the hunter. It's just like, that's for some reason, like that genuine class like really brings this excitement. But at the very beginning, I was just playing warlock and rogue, and obviously rogue just felt so underwhelming. I knew that going in. I knew that, and I was like, I'm gonna make the most out of it. I'm gonna make this rogue pump no matter what. I'm gonna
change the meta.
And then I was like,
what happened, bud?
I don't. It also took me like literally, it took me like 60 runs to get Latros offhand, just one offhand. So it was like that, like really at the beginning of TBC put me down a little bit.
Carlos, have you say something? Okay, there you go.
Well, have you enjoyed it? Have we enjoyed it? Have you enjoyed it, Sarthe? Like TBC as a whole? Like what, you know? I don't know. Just overall, has it been really positive compared to Classic? You still enjoying it? I have a hard time because I'm drinking the SoM Kool-Aid right now and the hardcore Kool-Aid. But I look back at TBC, I had some great times. You know, raiding with Grays and our guild Blackheart, and we had some some great fun. It's kind of hard to know exactly where it all fell apart. I think it was, if I had to look back on it, we started to have attendance problems like a lot of other raids did, right? And we ultimately had to make a decision because we were hemorrhaging players. Like, what do? We decided to merge with another guild. And then it just kind of wasn't the same and fell apart from there on our side. But we played on a very small server. I'm curious how the story's been for you guys. Like, has it just been, good this whole time? And you're equally like, I don't understand these SoM players. They're fucking batshit crazy. Like, why are they playing with one life? Dude, TBC is hype. Like, I don't know,
Also, Sarthe, when you answer that, talk about like what you do and like, about your TBC experience too, like what you do.
Yeah,
stuff, please.
I started TBC by joining a new guild, right? Like I started at the end of Classic. Throughout all of Classic, I basically played with one guild on White Main, NA, and then I left that knowing, or with kind of like a predisposition that things might go south there, and I knew to like, or not new to, but like I wanted to join one of the top guilds in the world, even though we've had some pretty doo-doo runs lately. But still, even there, like we're one of the most well-known names, Salad Bakers, and we fight the roster boss all the time. I think Crix is having to deal with this also. It's like a lot of people end up quitting the game because in between raids there's not much to do, and that was like one of the flaws in later Classic. Everybody felt like you were locked with world buffs and there was nothing to do in between the raids. But now it's like, well, people just fly everywhere or like don't do anything. Let's be realistic, a lot of people just buy gold or something. So the open world feels dead all the time. No one's out farming or anything. Maybe they are, but mostly bots. And for me, the open world outside of raids feels completely dead. But I have really like, I've always found enjoyment in this game, challenging myself to be better. And to be better in PvE means to chase like rank 1. I got rank 1 Hunter in the world in Tempest Keep. And so like to chase, like always kind of playing better and doing better in the raids. And then speed runs just have started. They've really only started about a month ago. And that's my favorite part of the game generally. And it doesn't have the same allure, the same magic of speedruns in Classic, because without world buffs, if you wipe or you die, like people can just like res and go again. There's no real punishment. So the magic isn't all there in TBC. I can say that. So I'm really excited for Season Mastery, and I'm really looking forward to playing a Rogue again also. So I'm going to level that next as well. I think Season Mastery is awesome. I'm really hyped for Classic. But yeah, I do think TBC has lost its magic for the most part, but I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah, and other things too to consider. The leveling meta of TBC. Was it healthy? Was it good? It was better than Classic, I guess. I mean, but the whole slave pens thing was it probably still continues to be a thing where you can just
it is absolutely. You literally slave pens into Shadow Labs, and like I know because I've done it on because I had to level a second Warlock, and I know Crix loves Warlocks and Kargoz, you loved the Warlock. I didn't really like the lock for raiding purposes because like it's a lot of Shadow Bolt, and so so to level that, I literally like did not touch my character. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But that was the only way I was gonna do it. I was like, all right, here's my gold, enjoy. And the boosting meta in general, I think, takes away a lot of the magic of the game. Leveling is gone in it, and I think you guys, in particular, you and Grays, play like you level all the time. You're amazing at it, and so I don't know. Do you feel like it was? Did you lose any of the love for the game when there was no fun way of leveling, or like you were forced to level, but it was always just you, right? Because no one else is actually leveling.
Yeah, it was whenever Kargoz brought that question up, the first thing that came to mind was what leveling? Like leveling doesn't exist in TBC. It wasn't exactly. TBC to level, you know? Like, and the servers weren't fresh. We have 58 boosts. I guess I didn't think about the leveling process 60 to 70, but it just, in my mind, the leveling doesn't exist in TBC.
But why is that? It could have, right? If they did a fresh, if they, I do. Yeah. Somebody in your chat earlier said, I think the 58 boost did more damage than we thought. And I really don't mean to say this lightly and just kind of be like, just be a yes man and agree. I do think he might be onto something, bro. And a few of us were saying that from the very jump. Like, I think verbatim I said, like, it just sucks kind of the soul out of the game, and it's hard to quantify why. And I participated in the boost. I boosted like four characters or something, and did my, like, I'm going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, you kind of have to when it's there.
Yeah, but there probably is a really big underlying impact that no one can really even fully understand. It kind of just sucks the life out of the game. And like I said with the arena, which is one of the big strengths of TBC, it made it so this boost made it so that all the top players could have multiple characters they could bring into the arena, right? And it would further make that barrier to entry worse, right? So if it's 0.1 for is it 0.1 for rank 1 or 0.1 for Glad? Whatever, right? Like a much bigger portion of that is going to be this small group of players that's like boosting other people. They have multiple alts. And then maybe even in the raiding meta, like, you guys would know better. Was it a good thing or a bad thing that people could just quickly spin up additional characters to raid on and stuff? I'm not sure. Maybe it was a positive thing, but
it adds so much of like an aspect of your guild just being able to say, oh, by the way, could you just play this, right? Like, oh, you could just play one of these, right? Like, because it's not that bad. Just get another boost and we'll boost you up. And then, so like it I think it took away from like that feeling of you having a core class, a core player, what you're actually playing. It feels a lot more like retail, where you do have like, oh, I can hop on anything and play whatever. But that also, I think, takes away from like some of the magic. Like, every week I would love raiding on my rogue in Classic. I would love it. I would go in so excited. My warrior, I would be so pumped to go in there. And like, but you've put so much time into these classes, and right now I have 3 level 70 hunters. I have 2 warlocks and 2 rogues. So like, none of them feel unique because I have a lot of them, and that's because of this boosting meta and this boosting. It's in the game, and it made raiding like, oh, I feel like raiding on this class. And then when your guild needs something else, you have to level up this class.
One thing I really like about hardcore too, hardcore as well. And yeah, sorry if like, this seems kind of culty or whatever. Like, obviously we're a bit biased here, but it's kind of what you said, Sarthe, with there being something that you can lose. There's something at stake. There's some kind of punish. It's the same thing with the world buffs. It's the same thing with one life. And it's a great filter, because I don't know if this frustrates anybody else. And it's kind of a selfish thing to be frustrated by, but it is what it is. You put a lot of time, life, you sweat, and you put your heart into the game. You play best you can. And then any advantage that you generate yourself is kind of like lost, because just people who can play a lot less can either just get carried up or boosted up and basically achieve very similar results with way less effort. And if there's some kind of punish where you're like losing, like, those players could not do a really good speedrun time in Classic or something, right? Like, there'd just be no shot. It's like some insane coordinated effort. Like, even the people right now, hardcore 60s verified doing the dungeons, you can assume a certain quality of player there, because the difficulty is templated for everybody, because it's solo and solo self-found and all that. In my mind, the new table stakes for WoW gameplay moving forward, there needs to be something at stake. There needs to be something on the line. And even just multi-life and SoM, it's a 1-year server. So like, the thing you lose is your character after 1 year. So you have this like short window of time to accomplish feats, but just the old mentality of creating a character and it just progressively gets stronger and stronger and dies all the time, gets boosted, and just do everything. I feel like it's a bit dated, and it makes for a less enjoyable experience both playing and viewing.
Yeah, I think adding risks is like one of the key factors, or a key driving factor for like anything. And I think that just like it doesn't feel good when you die and lose it, but like it feels good whenever like you achieve something great, like hitting 60 in hardcore or something like that. It feels amazing. You've accomplished this, and it wasn't safe the whole way. You couldn't just like zone out and do it. It was like you were actually playing the game. So I do agree with you there. I feel like that's a way that Blizzard needs to look towards the future.
I hope they learn from every little bit of a mistake. I just wish they would bite off private servers a little bit more, bro. To be honest, I wish they would just bite off a private server. Just go, you know what? You guys did a good job, and you're not supposed to do that, so we're taking it all. And just make that's our idea. Just do it. You're cool, man.
Here's the thing that I always wondered, though, and maybe we can get the chat to vote on this too. If Blizzard was cool with private servers, let's say they just let them exist and didn't just ban people on Twitch and YouTube and didn't try to shut them down, right? Like, they just let them go, and they just had confidence in their own product and said, here's our official servers, you know, this is what we have to bring to the table, these other people are doing private servers, whatever. Do you think more people would play on Peace server or Blizzard servers? I don't know. Well, let me just see what you guys have to say.
Wait, did you ask what was the question again?
If Blizzard was cool of just letting private servers do their thing and didn't proactively try to shut them down and do whatever, you know, they do right now, and people were free to stream and make content and build communities and orgs and all that around Peace servers, and that was okay, do you think the majority of players would still play official servers, or would they, or what do you think?
Oh, whoops, I fucked it up. There you go. Sorry. I personally, you know what my answer is gonna be. I gotta answer.
Crix is like, I'm a Blizzard shill all day.
Oh, come on.
I think it would be interesting because private servers try something new, like often, right? Like there's a new Wrath server and stuff.
Ascension?
There's
Ascension's
like
bonkers.
So many different like mechanics or adding new classes. I thought that was the coolest one. Is Ascension the one where like you got different classes spells? That was, I think
that's crazy.
Could have learned. That would have been so fun.
Could have. They still can. It's a private server. That's what I'm saying. They can go, hey, fuck you guys, and then make that fucking server themselves, and they not get in trouble for it at all. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I think that they're making some steps in the right direction. They're communicating more. They're actually doing a lot of positive things with SoM. I think a lot of us can agree on that. So they're doing some major strides in the right direction. But at the same time, Blizzard is still slow to act. It's slow to protect its player base. It's slow to do a lot of things and sometimes unresponsive. If the community was allowed to spearhead its own private servers and basically police itself and manage itself and create a strong, robust, vibrant community, I think we could do that even ourselves, just all together and like with a bunch of other people, and it would be very successful, man. I don't know. I mean, I'm down to play on the official servers, but it wouldn't surprise me if Peace servers, like something that was like Nost vibes or something, would be huge. Would be huge. And it's kind of, you know, Blizzard should maybe realize that, like,
they'd be a lot bigger.
Step up.
If it was allowed, it would be a lot bigger. It'd be huge. They're just more fun. They're more even the rating base. If it was allowed to be played and streamed and everything and make content out of it, even the big rating scene would be there, I think, because the raids are way more difficult.
I think that's always like an interesting aspect too, is like making the raids actually more difficult. How much do people love it? You loved it back in the Peace server days, so I'm intrigued to see how that goes with Season of Mastery's future, with the new raids, as everyone does Molten Core more than like the first few times. It's gonna be so much fun, but as it keeps going, and hopefully as we clear it, and then we can do it more and more. But each time for us, it'll just be risky, you know. So like that's where a big allure is.
You know how Blizzard's kind of thrown the hardcore community a bone with the Soul of Iron buffs and has been helping us? I wonder what that would be for the high-end raiding community, such people like yourselves. Like what Blizzard could do to either make speedruns more official or just make it way more electric and interesting for the high-end raiders.
If they made one realm, like a private or like a practice realm that we could all go on at one time, and every raid could just go with like you go with your normal gear, the gear you actually have in the game, but then you could get like world buffs and stuff and run at the same time. Because there was one time when we finally had an actual speedrunning competition. We were able to get every top guild to join in and run at the same time in official time slots. And if Blizzard supported that, it would. I think the raiding scene would be huge. But I don't see at this point them ever really doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Would you love that too, Crix? That type of competitive speedrun server?
Oh, yeah. Well, speedrunning is something that I've recently got into at the guild I'm in class TBC the past like a month, and I don't really like it that much, to be honest. Contrary to what Sarthe said, I actually despise it. But I'm going to keep doing it because we got a decent time, and now it was more learning, of course, because we didn't wipe. You know, now that we actually did a good run and got a decent time, I'm like, and you go, oh, wait a minute, we're only 8 minutes away from like the best one. I know it's a trap, and we're never gonna get that 8 minutes. And by the time we do get that 8 minutes, that 8 minutes is now gonna be 15. I know how this works. I can see how it works.
It's always moving down.
Yeah, I can see how this works. But I mean, I like my guild, and I like the people I'm with, so I'm kind of just putting up with it. You know what I mean? But
what if they just
maybe
pimp
start to talk me into it?
what if they just pimped the PTR out though, and they had all that stuff available there? Another thing that Tommy has always said, right? And Grays, you might vibe with this too, where a lot of the speedrunners, there's not many of them, right? Like it's Rant, Tommy, Tactics, only about a dozen people who actually speedrun this old game. But they always say, man, it'd be so great to get a server that you could be uncontested or have way less people and be able to actually push like your fastest speedrun times, because you can be totally screwed over by just some random Andy out in the world questing or something, and it can really like put a significant damper on your run. So some kind of PTR where the speed levelers could enjoy, the speed running guilds could enjoy and get their world buffs, and maybe baked into that as well, the arena folks could do arena tournaments there and have all the tools, and this PTR would just be this insane community resource to do all of this stuff.
And like everyone can play together. That would be like just this one realm. I think it would be so fun.
Yeah.
On to something that Kargoz asked earlier was, he said, how do we feel at being TBC Andes? How do we feel about SoM coming back out? Is that what you asked?
That too. I think you probably have something to say about that. Yeah.
I think it's crazy, and I don't know why people want to play SoM. I get that there's changes, but why do you want to go through the changes again and then have to go farm molten core for the next fucking 6 months or a year, whatever, how long you're going to do it? It's mind blowing to me. It's actually physically mind blowing that people want to go back and play that shit game. That's how much I hated Classic.
Oh
now, I will say, outside of Road to Rag, I understand Road to Rag, obviously. I love Road to Rag, but I don't know why that game ended 3 months ago or some shit. No idea why you want to go right back into that.
Well,
that is
break it
actually
down. What frustrates you about it? What in particular like is
Classic was a pile of shit, and I'm not the only one who thought that. A lot of people think that. A majority thought that. So if you like Classic, then that's on you. I don't hate you for it, but further, I'm on the side of the people who didn't like it, and it's mind blowing to all of us that you guys want to go back into that. It's crazy.
I
like the change.
The
changes are cool. Well, not the leveling. Leveling's fine. I like the slow leveling. The leveling's kind of my favorite thing about it. That's why I like hardcore so much. But the raiding, I'm a big raider, and the raids. I mean, even the raids that changes in the raids aren't hard. The changes didn't make the raid that hard. If you're a raider, if you're in a guild that's halfway decent, you're not gonna have troubles in those raids. And then here's the deal: you're gonna do BWL, and then cool, we're hyped up for the new changes for BWL, and then clap that out so easy, and then you have to go still farm that binding. So now instead of farming that binding in 30 minutes and 45 minutes, you got to farm it for 2 hours because it's buffered. It's buffed. I'm not doing all that, bro. No way.
Think that's like what I kind of touch on with like with world buffs and the speedrunning scene, right? Like World of Warcraft Classic raids weren't hard. The hard aspect was to see how far you can push it without like dying, without ever taking like it too far and then losing those buffs. So that was always what I really got into. And you mentioned a second ago that you're not really super into speedrunning in TBC, but that's because it doesn't feel the same at all. Like last week, I think was the first run I watched this entire expansion from the Guild Fusion, that the first run I've seen that felt like a speed run, where they took a different route. They like jumped over different like little exits. I haven't seen it yet. They pulled multiple things at certain times. Like it was the first time, other than like everything coming together at once, like you seeing if you could pull the entire room. Like for Naxxramas, you used to pull all of Grand Widow Faralina's room, and everybody had to click Sapper at the exact same second. Literally, if one person didn't, you guys all wiped. Like everybody had to, and people made a weak aura so that you literally couldn't press it until the timer was off, and like all of this. But it was like things like that where you were pushing things in such like insane ways, where a rogue would go use sprint and boots and pull like 6 different mobs like giant gargoyles, and then pull them into a little corner, and you have to speed past before the rogue has to like get out. Is
that in Classic?
And, like so there's a lot of like ingenuity that really used to happen, and that's what I miss from the raids. And I don't think that the new mechanics add more of a feel there. I think they make the raids technically longer when we get to it after the first few weeks, like I was saying earlier. I think it just makes the raids just longer with these new mechanics. They don't necessarily add so much difficulty as people get used to them, and that's why I think it would have been fun to see how hard we could pump with these new mechanics. I think it would have been fun in my aspect.
How are you feeling about it though, Greg? Do you like TBC or Classic more? Like 40 man versus 25, it's hard to know where you stand on things, because it seems like you're having fun, and then we all kind of just like quit together. So
It's hard to say. Like I'm thinking about how are we all gonna enjoy Wrath of the Lich King coming forward? Like, what's a good way? How can Wrath of the Lich King come out and not a lot of us lose interest?
Road to next.
Well, because I'm really not looking forward to like Hyjal coming out or any of the future raids tier 5 tier 6 content for TBC. How do we get Wrath of the Lich King to come out and just be interested until the end? I mean, like Crix, Sarthe, you guys are raiders, you're going to be there till the end, but how do they do Wrath of the Lich King different to where it holds our attention?
I think Lich in itself will hold attention because of all the. I would say Lich is retail enough to before it got cringy retail, though it makes people want to play it. That just simple as like having the LFG, but different kind of LFG, the one that gives you a little bag at the end of it with your emblems. You know what I mean? That little
and it's dungeon,
piece
not
of gear.
Looking for raid.
Yeah,
it's just for leveling.
Yeah.
Which is
it's for the heroics, it's everything besides the raids. Yeah, well they could implement that. It's for the heroics. Yeah, like if you would queue for heroic and then it'll give you like a bag at the end and like your two, like kind of like a retail-y would. And then it's got like those, those now you're in the dungeons where you're flying on a Drake sometimes, or you're doing, you're doing more stuff that's, besides Nax right away, which sucks. But then achievement system, all that.
Mm-hmm. Can you pinpoint in your mind, Gray, when the hype turned that corner and it started to go down?
Left.
Yeah. When you peaked and started to descend.
When I was dragged into mags and rules, like week 3 and week 4 from then on, just plummeted. And like the 10 man, I loved Karazhan every single week, and it's like, okay, guys, we'll see you tomorrow night for our 25 man raid, our single solo boss, and there's nothing else there. I didn't PvP, so my 10 man Karazhan, my 25 man raids for months and months, it just got old. In like 3-4 weeks, I was kind of done with it. I think it would have been neat to see the 25 man raid content a little bit sooner than it was. Man, I don't know why it died so fast. I think the same thing's gonna happen in Wrath.
I think so
I'm gonna enjoy Fresh. I'm gonna enjoy the first gear progression. I'm gonna enjoy the first wave of pushing through content, and I just don't think I'm gonna stick around long enough to see the next phases. And once I quit, it's really hard to come back.
You ever think of Black Temple?
Not really, man. The last thing I want to do is I love tanking. I had more fun tanking in TBC than I did in all of Classic on my Paladin, hands down. But I don't want to come back to the raid content and start
that's
again.
Fair. I mean, it kind of goes back to what I was saying before. I think maybe the only way we'd be able to enjoy it for a longer period of time, honestly, would be if we did hardcore Fresh from the jump as well, because it goes back to what I was saying where I like sweating it out on Fresh. It's so fun to get ahead and to get ahead of the pack and fight for your little slice of the market, right? And get your gear first and do all that shit, right? It's so fun. And then people, just kind of the normal masses, will catch up, right? And start getting the gear and having a very similar results to you, but with way less effort, right? So they're going there and there's no punish. There's no punish for bad play. There's no punish for anything. You just respawn, get carried, boosted, whatever. And that's why hardcore is so interesting, because if you die, it's all wiped out. It's like the ultimate filter. So there's good and bad. Like there is a threat of wiping your character, and I feel like that helps a lot in my own mind of keep retaining interest and stuff. Like for me, even with Classic, right? So I sweated pretty hard. We were there on day 9. We killed Ragnaros. Grays was there too, in Invictus, and we went really hard. But then in the weeks coming, lots of other people's hit 60. And you're trying to do like some fair loot system, so all the loot is distributed against all the other people that are coming into the finish line like weeks after, that put in only a fraction of the effort that you did, and they're just getting geared up. And because it's not one life, you don't feel that sense of self-preservation, so you're kind of like greedier and more selfish. Whereas right now in hardcore, Grays wants all the DPS to get geared because they're keeping him alive by pumping harder. He wants the healers to get juicy heals so he can stay alive. Whereas like if you're just playing multi-life, it's easy to be kind of like selfish, unless you really are maybe a super high-end guild that's doing speed runs and it's very much team oriented. That is a factor for me though, at least.
Okay. And I want to ask you guys one thing before we get on to just your baby of Road to Rag is if I know we all wanted TBC Fresh, if they had a TBC Fresh, if they would have did that, do you guys think you guys would still be playing?
Man.
Yeah.
I think I would have played a little bit longer. It's easy to say in hindsight that the content should have came out sooner.
Yeah.
There just was a lack of content. There's a lack of in-game content for me. And maybe with the timeline that they had, if they had fresh servers, it actually would have worked. But we got to, what was it, like day 3? We were in Karazhan. And we got lockouts on all the raids the first week. So maybe if we didn't start until 2-3 weeks, a month in, I would have stuck around a little bit longer, but the patch progression seemed a little bit slow. I don't know that TBC would have retained my attention. Okay. And that's what I think is going to happen with Wrath. I'm going to really enjoy Fresh, whatever it is, if they have a fresh server or not, play it for a couple months and move on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm more or less the same. It probably would have retained interest a bit longer, though, for me. It would have just been more stuff to grind through, and I'm kind of with Grays on this. And sorry, just to go back to my other point for as well too is so how many of you guys are playing on Jam Gabar or any of the new PvP servers? Like, it is extremely fun to play on a fresh PvP server when it's fair and fresh and people can get ahead of the pack and you get a little bit of advantage. But once the server starts to stabilize and then the masses hit 60, I would guess there's a good percentage of you out in the audience where like that enjoyment level of those skirmishes out in the open world does go down because people can get luckier with gear and you can just get outnumbered. And that magic of fresh is there when it's fair and new and people are racing to 60, and it's so much fun in that light. I think it ties into what I was saying before, but I don't know what they can do about that. That's why shorter, fresher, cyclical servers would be nice.
Everyone says Jam is pretty fun, huh?
That's what I've heard.
I think they're doing a good job finally having these this seasonal thing and trying out new things for each one. I think this one obviously needs to be successful for them to decide to do it again and with something new. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how SoM goes in this season.
Do you think, regardless of if SoM's going to be more successful than Classic the first time around or enjoyed by the players more, do you think TBC could be more enjoyed by people with a re-release of TBC? Assuming they re-release TBC at some point.
I mean, I personally would do a Seasons Mastery TBC if they had it.
I think it'd have to be a while from now because I think people still people loved Classic Vanilla so much, and they loved it for so long. And there was always every phase, there was a lot of people would always complain there's nothing to do, but there's always something. It felt like if you wanted to, there's always something you could do. I think it would have to take a while because people lost a lot of the magic with TBC. It felt quickly, significantly more fast paced than with Classic Vanilla, right? And so I don't know how well it does doing a Classic TBC Season Mastery yet. I think they have to wait for that nostalgia to hit again.
Yeah, I always said for Fresh, it's like playing a game of Risk, a board game. You play it once a year and you put it back in the closet and you don't pull it out until next year. There's huge diminishing returns on it. But maybe it would be interesting if they did a fresh TBC Season Mastery, maybe did faster content phases, maybe, the P servers, the sped up content that came out, they dropped twice the amount of badges or whatever, the items that you would turn in.
Yeah.
I wonder if TBC could be a more enjoyable experience than it was this first time around. I'm not saying it was good or bad, but just makes me wonder.
All right. Well, guys, now we can finish up by talking about your guys' the baby hardcore challenge, the Road to Rag. Pretty sure a lot of us know what Road to Rag is, but for people who are watching here, listening to this, I guess, and not watching it, that do not know what the hardcore challenge is, Graysfordays, can you please let them know what it is, please, sir?
Sure. Yeah. Road to Rag. It was a combined effort from a lot of the hardcore people. Kargoz spearheaded this, the One Life idea in Classic, and it's been pretty successful for about 2 years. And this is the stepping stone for hardcore. This is taking hardcore to the next level for the first time. This is the hardcore scene seeing a fresh server for the first time, which was really exciting. This is hardcore community doing level 60 content for the first time. It was always just a leveling challenge, and so we are challenging the game mode and attracting maybe a new crowd. Because honestly, not a lot of people enjoy leveling and want to just level over and over and over again for 2 years like we did. And so it's really neat to see maybe the doors opened up to the community a little bit more with the idea of level 60 content. And it has been a massive success up to this point. And I think myself, and I look at people like Bobka, it's just, we're not in different categories, the way we play the game and like the way we approach it. And he's having so much fun. I think he just went on a 12-hour dungeon crawl last night, and he got double wins, and it just takes the dungeons to a whole new level. He's really been enjoying his time recently in the hardcore community, which I don't think he would have enjoyed as much just if it was a leveling challenge 1 to 60. So
I think a lot of people do. Yeah, a lot of people would. And also, Kargoz, you can touch on what else hardcore challenge is. Kargoz, the guy who started it. What was your process?
I mean,
what was the goal?
Just to build
Did you
off
plan
that,
on that? Did you?
Yeah, just to build on it, I mean, we're forming the world's first mortal raiding guild, and we're going to see what happens. If it's going to be like a clown fiesta or if it's going to be awesome. We're trying, a lot of us love this game, and all of us, whether you're PvP or PvE or leveler or whatever, like the game is a bit easy in certain respects because we just have like this perfect knowledge of the game. So hardcore is revitalizing that that relationship with the game world, right? It's just encouraging people to play with finesse and respecting the game world, jumping in comms, when's the last time before hardcore you like really jumped in comms to do like a dead mines or something? Like everybody's jumping in comms.
Yeah.
They're sheeping stuff, they're CCing stuff, they're really thinking super carefully about every mechanic of every mob and like putting their theory crafting caps on again for the first time in a long while, dusting it off. A lot of people playing together. I also think it makes the viewership better, because a lot of people say WoW is a terrible game to stream. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think with something on the line that the viewers can all easily understand, it does take it to the next level. With that, it gives everybody, whether you're a speedrunner or speed leveler, like an extra aspect of difficulty. But yeah, we're trying to kill Ragnaros as a mortal raid and seeing if we can do it or not, and we're all playing together and stuff. It's really fun.
And it's fun that with the fresh servers, we can all, so many people that have been on different servers for forever can finally all be there together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's been fun getting to play with everybody on the same server. I was saying I've been playing with at least Tommy Tactics, Kargoz. We all really like Fresh in mind, and we played on TBC, same server together. Just recently played on this server together, and I think we're going to continue to get to play together. So that's been really fun. I don't think there's ever a Fresh that we're all going to miss. And even all the people playing hardcore, maybe we'll continue to get to play together on the next Fresh. Or
you guys ever think of the future raids of it, or are you kind of just right now, let's just worry about Rag and then we'll worry about whatever is in the future later?
I think we're just trying to see if this is even possible, honestly. But so far, all signs point towards yes. We already have over 160s in the guild. The mortality rate at 60 isn't as high as we would have imagined. All dungeons cleared, including all dire maul wings, including UBRS, LBRS. So people are thinking about the viability of a full-on Soul of Iron or hardcore server or whatever it is. It actually looks very promising. You can do it. First we thought, can you possibly not die? And just through the leveling process, yes. Now can you do endgame dungeons? Yes. Now can you do endgame raids? If we can do that,
right?
If we can do that, I honestly think we're getting a hardcore server, Soul of Iron, whatever. And a lot of us in the hardcore community, people hate on us for this proprietary blend of rules. A lot of us are excited to just play on a One Life server, man. Hardcore will always be a thing, but we all just want hardcore, One Life servers and want to play One Life WoW from here on out and believe in it. So it doesn't, it doesn't have to have all the hardcore rules or anything, but
yeah, I think everybody's just worried about Rag right now. People are saying, are we going to carry on to Neff? I think we'll continue to play on Season of Mastery. I think it's going to take a whole new Fresh, and everybody's going to need to take a break and kind of lick their wounds from all the deaths they had in MC, weeks played down the drain. You literally delete your character. I think we're going to have to wait for another Fresh to do Road to Nefarian, the next tier of content, but you never know.
We could just play really smooth. The raid could go amazing.
Yeah, I don't. I guess everybody argues with me when I say this, but I don't think the raid's gonna be that bad. To be honest, it's not that bad. It's not that hard. Guys, I don't think any of this is that hard to do. I think with good leadership and good people pressing the right buttons, which we have in the raid, I don't think it's gonna be that hard.
Well, that's what it's always been in,
I really don't.
vanilla too, right? Yeah.
Another thing that's interesting though, because we focus on the one life WoW, right? The one life aspect of it. So another thing that's unique to hardcore, not necessarily Soul of Iron, and some people might think it's cringe. I understand, but is the no auction house, and it makes you think: what if WoW never had an auction house? Would we have a stronger game or a weaker game than we have today?
Ooh,
maybe weaker. Gun to my head, maybe. Yeah, maybe weaker. But what I'm telling you right now, as someone that's been in the 60 guild and is kind of experiencing what it's like in the early stages of like level 60 no auction house economy, people are like bartering back and forth. They're very, very like just giving each other stuff, being very team oriented, just sharing a lot. And I've never felt like more of a guild than we have right now in the 60 guild, Gray. I don't know if you would agree or not, but people Absolutely. Are so easy to share stuff with each other. I've never seen it before. No one's selfish or anything.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing. I think if you think about it, you literally have to use the chat to be able to like communicate with people and actually sell everything like you would in real life.
Well, yeah. So I'm the guild enchanter right now because I had to go enchanting for my smoking heart of the mountain, dude. I'm needing on all the greens and blues, and I think that would piss a lot of people off in my groups. And I'm throwing enchants on everybody in my dungeon group, with all the mats that I'm disenchanting during the run. I don't gain gold, and I don't think anyone in my dungeon runs gain gold. Like we'll play for 10 hours and my gold goes up like 20 gold because we disenchant literally everything, but no one has a problem with it because there is no auction house. You don't have a reason for financial gain. I mean, maybe you'll get your epic mount, but that's about it. That's all you're spending gold on. I've been shelling out mongoose pots left and right. I've been giving, I've been giving all the consumables. I've been giving my rogues, the elixir of strength. I should have the jujus for 30 strength, but I've been giving the strength elixirs away because I want them to kill the mobs faster so I stay alive, and it's been really neat.
How does it feel to be a tank?
It's terrifying.
The dungeons and just I watched you go to 200 health or something like that one time, and then the healer Tommy also fucking with the 200 health.
Yeah,
he lay on hands. You survive. You guys, and it was like
it's been a roller coaster of emotions, man. Like I feel like I have the One Ring around my neck, or the Lord of the Rings ring. Like I feel like I got the Horcrux on my neck right now. I'm walking around and it's bringing the worst out in me. Like I watched a clip, a 5-man level 60 group going to Sunken Temple.
Oh.
They pulled a Ragnaros without clearing. There's a rogue just killing the boss. There's a mage, he's doing a firefight. The entire instance gets pulled on top of him in a Ragnaros, and he's throwing blizzards down. The healer's trying to keep everybody up, and the rogue's just sitting there stabbing the boss, right? Because he's just gonna vanish whenever things go south. And dude, they're controlling the firefight best they can. Warriors sending out commands. My heart's on cooldown. We got to win this fight. I'm screwed. And the rogue finishes off the boss. He looks at the loot. It drops a dagger. He's hovering over, looking at the stats. He clicks need. He's running around. And it pissed me off so much from the tank perspective. Like, I was so upset watching this rogue's point of view. But as a tank, man, and everybody fends for themselves. Like, tactics is like spec'd into double vanish, or hunters are spec'd into improved feign death instead of entrapment, taking care of me. And it's so like I'm realizing everyone's taking care of themselves. Oh yeah, Kargoz. Kargoz has a little a new WoW Andy. WoW Andy in the making. She's gonna be level 60 by the age of 5.
You level 60 before Crix?
I got the next fresh right here.
World's first.
I got the new Seasons of Mastery server right here, man.
Yeah. So tanking.
Like warlock.
Tanking. From the economic side, everybody's sharing with each other. Everyone's working together as a unit, and I believe we are in 5-man groups. But I'm just realizing, man, whenever it comes down to it, people are gonna take care of themselves. I would too.
I feel really bad because that guy showed me, that rogue came into my chat when that happened and gave me that clip and showed me it. And the first thing I thought was, yeah, I would have did the same shit, bro. I would have looted. I would have finished that boss. I would have looted that goddamn dagger. He's a rogue. I would have looted the shit out of that dagger. And I would have looked around and been like,
Yeah, man. So it's been pretty savage. I don't know what the other perspectives are like. I think Tommy lost a couple years of his life healing me and healing the rest of the group. It's extremely taxing.
He's bald now. That's why he put his camera
to
away.
Be a healer in Rag, in the road to Rag, that's where I'm gonna be like, that's got to be so scary.
Yeah, man, it's stressful. Doing a couple dungeons in a row is actually like really mentally taxing. Like I log off and I just go take a nap real fast because I'm spent from just making sure that all the pulls are perfect. You know, nobody messes up. I've had a couple. We were doing a Strat live run and we stepped over to Strat Undead, and so we walked into the Magistrate Bartholus room, and I pulled Magistrate without thinking, and I had Frostadamus, and Tommy was on my hip, and luckily he ran in as the gate closed, and 2 DPS were on the other side of the gate. And so I had my pocket healer, I had Frost, and myself, and we were able to 3-man Magistrate Bartholus. Like I almost killed Frost, and I almost, if Tommy wasn't there, I think I would have told Frost to Hearth, and I would have just died. So it's been mentally taxing, but like super rewarding, doing these dungeon runs.
Is that because next level adrenaline shit, huh?
Yeah. We pulled an extra pack in Dire Mall North, and my heart sank. I got an adrenaline rush that I've never experienced before. I think if I was like 10 years older, I probably would have gone to the ER. It was terrifying to think that 8 days played was about to go down the drain. And also the other people in my group are going to pay for my actions. You know, I just pulled an extra pack and I'm about to waste somebody else's 8 days played. And so the stakes are at an all-time high. It's really neat to see these. It's really neat to see it play out. Yeah, I think someone's going to get doxxed by the end of the event. I don't think it's going to end well. I don't know what's going to happen, man. But
I can't imagine it, bro. All the gear, it's like, I died last night at 56. And that shit, my heart, I can't find it right now still. But you, at 60, with all the gear you have and like all the enchanting. I remember I actually got to watch a good amount of the past couple of days because I took some time off. And like you're enchanting. I remember you farming for it, dude. It's crazy to think of anybody. I thought the devil sword, the gear you guys have, and then just going down, bro. Would be fucking garbage, bro.
It would be a huge blow. Not just for me, but for everybody else. If Kargoz died with the Flask of Titans and Flask of Supreme Power right now, you know how many people would be pissed? That the guild just lost their Flask recipe. And I mean, I feel like that's why we all tune in, and that's why we all continue to play. The stakes are so high. I don't know when it's gonna blow up, right? I don't know when it's gonna explode. When's the volcano gonna erupt?
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see.
We got a taste of it when we saw that ST run happen, and even there was a Nomergon run yesterday.
A whole Nomergon.
It's surreal, dude. When you see one guy die, and then in the guild chat, it's like, "I'm about to die, guys."
Mm-hmm.
And then another one dies, and it's like another raid warning. Then another one, and you're just waiting with this feeling of dread as the deaths start rolling in. It's kind of insane, dude. It invokes like deep emotions while you're playing some silly World of Warcraft game, right? Like you get real feelings of horror and dread and hype, and man, I believe in it. The One Life WoW is insane, man.
Can you imagine in the raid the warnings coming up?
No,
I can't even fathom it, dude. Literally 40 people. Can you imagine if one living bomb goes off, or we missed? Probably. I don't think people are going to fail on the living bomb. I honestly don't. We're going to build weak auras for them that literally cover their whole screen, and like we're going to make them sign like a freaking DocuSign before they go in to move out a living bomb. But we may miss the DPS check, right? And the bosses might like enrage or something. I could see that happening because everybody uses like a nifty stopwatch. Yeah, a little more stam, and our DPS is just ass. And the boss enrages and kill us, and you see 40 60s die.
Oh man. Yeah, that Flask of the... So, if I can touch on that ST death, we just finished Uber's. Flask of the Titans dropped. I was going nuts because I'm going to be flasked up for all my dungeons now. It's going to carry me to Rag. It's huge for the guild. And literally like 10 seconds after the Flask of the Titans drop, and you guys have seen the ad, it's like... Doo-doosh. Like a Hunger Games style issue, level 60 priest has died. And when we look at the guild tab, it's like, oh my god, dude, he died in Sunken Temple. And we see it's a full 5-man group, and we're like, yo, what's happening? He's like, yo, we pulled a Ranicus. And everyone in the guild, Tactics, Parla, Tommy, they were all in there like, evade spot, trying to save him. And one hunter was like, the warrior was like, only one person died, but the rest, I'm about to die myself, and everyone's just spamming guild chat trying to get him to survive. And I'm thinking about what the raid environment's going to look like on Magmadar whenever tanks pull the dogs. And for some reason, if a tank dies on the ads to Magmadar, you can't evoke an emotional response. You can't react in the moment. Like, people just got to keep playing. What are the healers going to... Whenever me and Kargoz were duoing one time, we were in BFD, we 3-manned it. Me and Kargoz were a duo, and I let the third man die. And as soon as he died, I gave up. Like, I literally, it just broke me. I felt so bad for allowing this guy to die, and then I ended up killing me and Kargoz because of it. But imagine a healer, you see one of your tanks go down, that's your battle buddy, and you just got to move on. The next tank has to pick the ad up, and you can't skip a beat. What's that going to look like? Man, I just can't believe that we've created a high stakes environment and in World of Warcraft. I don't know.
I don't know if you can feel it in the air. If gun to my head right now, if I had to be a betting man, and you had to bet some large amount of money or whatever, if we're gonna get some sort of Soul of Iron server or hardcore server in the future, I actually think we're gonna get it. I really do believe that. Yeah. I can just feel it in the air, bro. I can smell it, man. His blood is in the water, man. Like, it's coming. It's coming. It's got to be coming.
Blizzard has to see this, like, the success and how things are going, and has to be like, this is legit. This is realistic. This is actually happening. Let's do this. Let's support it. Especially with, like, how when we actually do the Road to Rag raid, like, that's going to be, everyone is going to be watching that. So all eyes on there.
And so I'm really excited too, in terms of it being possible. A lot of people said it's going to take months to get a full raid team ready, even to level 60. There's a lot of doubts, and I thought that the community would come through. It's actually blown my expectations. I logged on this morning. It hasn't even been 3 weeks of SoM being out, and there's 96 level 60s in the NA Road to Rag guild. And it just, I thought people were going to clutch it because there's something on the line.
Grace, have you seen a single noob? Have you seen a single, like, I know disrespect to the noobs, because you need the noobs in order to have a good game, but, like, have you seen somebody who you've been very underwhelmed by their performance so far in any dungeon you've done?
Yeah, everyone has blown my, like, it feels like Invictus in the first raid or two. That quality of plays and the quality of tryhards. It's been really impressive to be surrounded by that caliber of players. And there's no, I don't know, it's just a game mode normally doesn't bring those players together unless you're in a guild together, or what else am I trying to think of? I've seen the roles. Warlocks are a lot more respected, I feel like, in level 60 dungeons. Their toolkit is used a lot more. All the CC, for that matter. All the classes are just respected more. Curse of Tongues is impactful. You normally just wouldn't Curse of Tongues anything. You just two-hand tank everything and burn it all down. Instead, all the classes are using their toolkits more at level 60. We did a bunch of Dire Maul tribute runs, and melee were getting two-shot. Tactics got down to 20% one time. Tommy got down to 20% one time because he was standing on top of a mob that was CC'd, and you're just seeing a whole nother dynamic of the level 60 content. It's got a fresh coat of paint without any changes. No new abilities, no new classes, no new talent changes, and we're approaching this old content in a new way. I don't know. It feels different.
It's amazing
than classic the first time around. It actually is. Yeah. I don't know where I want to go with it.
Just enjoy it, man, while we can.
Yeah.
It's still, I don't know if we'll ever be able to assemble this motley crew again. Even if we do Road to BWL, we probably...
It won't be the same. It's never the same.
4,000 plus hardcore players going for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Such a massive community, like, just
over 160s. That's what surprised me the most. Did that surprise you guys, to be honest? How does
that's just NA, right? That's just NA too, right?
Yeah.
EU is almost as big as NA. They're just like sleeper cells because no one really streams from it. I saw a guy with 500 watching today, though, who's on the EU side, named like Sarthe K. But yeah, EU is also, they might even, imagine they beat us to Rag. They actually might be. I don't know. You never know, man. Never underestimate the EU players, man.
EU has a lot of sweaties.
Yeah, never underestimate the EU guys.
That's where I play mostly down. Yeah. It would be very easy to see them be able to do that, actually.
They just got to go on holiday. That's what they say, man. 1 week holiday, right? Good.
Kargoz, when you started this, was this the goal? Like, did you have any idea of this? What was your thoughts? You just got tired of the game and?
Nah, man, it's just been a group project that I am really proud of, because it does feel like, that expression, it takes a village. Like, it really does take a village with everything. Any good idea, like, one person can't do it. Like, it takes a lot of people just with different feedback, and it's the definition of a grassroots community in my mind. Like, it just was forged one day at a time, getting people slowly into it and just growing like really organically. It wasn't like forced or anything, and it's so nice, man. It's really so nice. So these are some of the best times of my gaming career or whatever.
Oh, whoops. Up again. Oh, I got used to that.
Yeah, it's come such a long way. I remember watching Karg doing it like over a year ago, and I remember like downloading and trying, and like remember like Kargoz had all these add-ons that made the game look like Diablo, and the game looked crazy, and ran these like insanely long scripts that I still have saved on my like TBC character, that I like looked at my macros the other day and I was like, what are these scripts? It's so many of them. But the game looked so intense, and like the head swivel was even a thing, and like it was just so fun. I remember there was just this whole new way of experiencing this game we've played for so long. And now look at how much it's grown, and everyone here.
Fucking Iron Lad, bro. Iron Lad, man.
Yeah, and I appreciate it so much, man. I appreciate everybody like trying it out and trying to grow it. It's definitely one of the most rewarding like projects I've ever worked on with you guys. I really do feel like we all did it together, and it's been great, man. It's been so much fun.
Well, guys, I don't know. At that hour and a half, it's about where we wanted it. Yeah. You want to add anything, Sarthe? Do we want to?
Before anything, I want to say, Karg, she's so cute.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you, brother. Yeah. The dad gamer life ain't so bad, man.
Yeah, we got 2 new dad gamers, both of you guys. How are you guys? How's that going? I know how it is, but how you guys? How you
I don't know if you can see it in my eyes, Crix, but
with this race, yeah.
Yeah,
it's different, bro. Huh? Yeah, it hits different.
It's different. Crix told me, he was like, man. He's like, as long as you can, it's different. It's good.
It hits different.
It's rewarding.
Yo, you've been a bit of an inspiration to me, though, Crix. Not gonna lie. Like the fact that you still your same old self, you're playing WoW, you're growing your channel, you're very happy, and you are a seasoned dad gamer at this point. No joke, made the whole process a lot easier for me. Like possible, you'd have those rough nights, and I'm like, yeah, Crix did it, man. He's good. He's still upright. Yo, he's still gaming. He's pumping. Like,
those early years though, those early years I had to relax a little bit though. It was for the beginning, more for the wife than anything though. That's the big one, right? It's not even the kid. Most of the time, it's the mental from the wife you got to help with.
Bless the wives,
you guys,
man.
yeah, exactly.
Carry hard, man.
Yeah, they carry hard, bro. We're gaming all day. They carry hard, right?
Yeah,
true.
Yeah. Well, Sarthe, are you going live after this?
Yeah, I am. I'm doing GDKP.
Ooh, jump on that then.
TBC. People love that.
So we're gonna this is the first episode. We're gonna do this every Monday. It'll be this long about every time, about usually whatever is going on. We don't know. It's really just because I know I like podcasts recently, and I would love just to have more WoW ones. There's not a lot. There's a couple good, really good ones like Warcraft Reloaded and some other ones, and GMA is still going. But there's got to be some hangouts with some people. You know what I mean? And I feel like Sarthe and I can, we know some people. What little bit we're growing, so what little bit of connections we can have some cool people on here and really just shoot the shit and kind of try to keep, I guess, classic hyped up as much as we can, like all the classics, not just. People love TBC and they hate classic, and they hate SoM, but they love TBC and then they hate let's keep it all together, man. It's like a big ass family, right? So
I agree. They're a big ass family. My dream is that classic WoW will end one day and all these things will come to a close, and we will all stick around and continue to support each other and like have these online communities, and like Gray said, we'll probably hit the next fresh together as a squad as well. And a lot of people I see in that boat, people who are genuinely good people looking out for each other. And, it could be other games. We'll be playing, Call of Duty 93 or whatever. And when that comes out, or the new Halo. Or
well, it builds family. It's like I'm getting ready to go on. I want to take my wife on a little trip and just go meet you guys. You know what I mean? I'm going to Texas next month to see my grandma. I know Grays is down there. I'm gonna come knock on his door. I want to go see. I want to meet people. I like doing it.
Crix out in Cali.
Yeah, these are friends. You gotta realize people don't go out and meet friends at like fucking birthday parties or clubs or whatever, and then hang out and go. We don't do that. This is our club. This is game.
And this shit is not fake for people watching. Some people might think it's fake. They see some streamers that are friends that like they think it's not real. It's real, man. It's real. What you see is what you get, man. We're actually keep it $150 with you.
Will this podcast host? Yeah, I'm gonna figure out how to put it on everything. I want to put it on iTunes, Spotify. The Warcraft Reloaded podcast is another amazing classic one, and he's helping me kind of figure out the audio. We'll have the audio better too, and everything will get fixed. I honestly just was like tripping that I died last night, so I had slept and then woke up like 15 minutes later. My wife's like, "Yo, you got to get up." I was like, "Oh."
That was just. It's.
She's like, "I thought you were staying up." I was like, "Don't worry about it, damn it." I was like, didn't even tell her yet.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I think you can go ahead and go live, Bubba. I'll go to host you guys and Grays Kargoz. Thank you so much. I'm gonna spam your guys'. I'm gonna spam your guys' stuff in chat right now. I already got it up, ready to go. Sarthes.
Yeah. Let me take my camera down.
Where can these guys find you, man?
And well, yeah, everyone shout out your channels, guys. Of course, my name's Sarthe, obviously here with Crix, hosting this every week. You can find me at twitch.tv/Sarthe and YouTube Sarthe TV. Grays.
Oh yeah, Graysfordays on Twitch. Yep.
Getting ready to spam it right now, my man. And I think Grays is also going live for some hardcore. If you want to see some hardcore, I gotta do some stuff on a different version of the game that I can't say, but I love you guys. We do. Yeah. Sarthe, go ahead live. I'll stay live until you're up.
Much love, brothers. I appreciate it. Take care, everybody. Have a good one, chat. See ya.